jump into this one and watch us as we chip away at all the stellar highlights. We will give you all the best instructions to help us celebrate Cardinal athletics. Let's make the final dash to the finish line. Sportsnight is next.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sportsnight. I'm Joe Young.
And I'm Howie Shapiro. And it is the final dash to the finish line for us here on Sportsnight. Only a couple left before the season is over.
Well, the review show coming up right around the corner. It will be our next broadcast because only one Coon Rapids athlete left in action after this past week.
Crazy. It goes quickly.
So, and graduation held over the weekend. Want to congratulate all the Cardinals moving on, both athletes and non-athletes alike. Congratulations on that big accomplishment. But we've got some stuff to wrap up here as far as the Cardinals sports is concerned. We start with the baseball team. Cardinals didn't exactly enter last week's section tournament on a tear. They lost 8 of their last 10 games in the regular season, but the playoffs meant another chance. So they headed to Duluth on Tuesday, hoping to knock off the third-seeded Greyhounds. Duluth East was 12-5 in the regular season and has an offense that could put big numbers on the board. So the Cardinals would need to start fast and stay strong. Cardinals get the start they needed. Top of the first, 2 runners in scoring position. Nate Breams lost one deep to left center. He's out on the fly, but both runners tag in advance. Xander Parr comes home, and it's 1-0 Coon Rapids. They add to it in the third. Breams again, this time a solid grounder down the third base line. Pinch runner Logan Rotzine will score from second, and the Cardinals have a 2-run lead. But Duluth East answers in the bottom half of the third. Isaac Fugger with a 2-out single to right. Kyle Dupe scores, and the game is tied. Next batter is Tyler Wapala, and he drives this one deep to the gap in right center. Braden Farley makes a great effort, but can't make the catch. Drew Grindal scores from second, gives Duluth East a 3-2 advantage. Cardinals respond immediately. Nobody out. Runner at third, Jack Orlikowski gets it past the drawn-in infield. Ian Wynn scores, and we're tied again. Still in the fourth, Orlikowski at third. Caden Edwards throws in the dirt, and it gets past the catcher. A lot of room behind the plate. Orlikowski scores easily. Coon Rapids back in front, and they weren't done in the inning. This time, Edwards called for a balk with Jimmy Brinda at third. And Brinda is going to trot home with Cardinals' third run in the fourth inning. They lead 5-3. But the Hounds get a couple right back in the home half of that inning. Nick Allen's sacrifice fly to left scored Chris Sampson to even the game at 5 apiece. Move to the bottom of the fifth now. Duluth East with a runner at third and only one out. Cards infield in. Doesn't matter. Tyler Wapala unloads on this one. It's over the head of Wynn in left for a double. Grindal scores easily from third. That was the last run of the ball game. Greyhounds hold their seed and send the Cardinals to the playback bracket with a 6-5 loss.
Well, the Cardinals still had a chance, but the backside of the bracket got a little tougher when Forest Lake upset second-seeded Anoka in the opening round. That meant if the Cardinals wanted to keep their season alive, they would have to travel to Anoka and take down the Tornadoes. Anoka puts the pressure on right away in the first after a leadoff triple by Jackson Hauge. Hunter Smith with a soft line drive to right, and Hauge scores easily with the game's first run. 2 batters later, Cody Lindenberg slaps it through the hole on the right side of the infield. Smith scores, and the Tornadoes storm to a 2-0 lead. They're going to add another one, crooked number in the second. Lindenberg again, this time with a drive over the head of Arnton left. 2 runs are going to score as Charlie Buffy comes all the way home from first. 4-0 Anoka. I think we get one more in the inning. Coming up here, a single by Nate Tillman scores Lindenberg. All this done with just 2 outs. Unfortunately for Coon Rapids, that was more than enough for pitcher Nate Cully. He was masterful, perfect through 5, and didn't give up a hit until 2 out in the 7th. Gets the 1-out shutout, 5 strikeouts, and the Cardinals season ends with a 5-0 loss to Anoka. Twice this year they've played them. Twice they've lost 5-0.
It's worse. It's even worse than that.
Yeah.
3 hits and only 6 base runners in those 2 losses
that makes it difficult
against Anoka. And both Anoka pitchers, when they have faced them, have really had the Cardinals' number.
Yep.
Hunter Smith in the first game game gave up 1 hit with 1 out in the first and 1 hit with 2 out in the 7th. Retired 19 in the middle. This time it was Cully, perfect through 5 innings. Hit a batter to start the 6th, and that brought on the weirdest stuff. There was a lot of weird stuff in this game with the umpiring. A couple of Cardinals got tossed for bat flips.
If I had a bat, I could throw it. You could kick me off the set.
But an Anoka assistant coach was asked to leave the field because of a different call. Just some very strange things. But those things really didn't factor into what happened as far as the score. The Tornadoes jumped on them early. Cardinals just couldn't do anything against Cully, and the season ends. Anoka's season, though, ended in the very next contest. They went to Forest Lake on Saturday, and they lost to Andover. Duluth East, and Blaine, the 3 teams remaining. Duluth East lost to Blaine 3-1. The Bengals 20-1 in their 3 games.
It's the Bengals are really have the driver's seat now, because obviously they have to lose twice in order not to go to state and win the section. So they definitely have the advantage, and certainly anything can happen. But Blaine looks like the seed that's going to come out of here, and well deserved too.
And they've had a great section tournament.
They have
so
a great
far,
season as well.
Moving right along, track and field competed in their section tournaments last week. Then there is 1 Cardinals athlete left standing in the spring season. He'll be competing in the state tournament at the end of the week. The track teams were hoping they could get a couple more athletes past the section, but doing that is no small task. Both boys and girls teams had several season and personal bests at the meet, and there were a handful of podium finishes, but only 1 qualifies for state this season. We start with Joel Nolan. He's had a great season in the pit, just barely misses a trip to state, finishing 3rd in the shot put. He's a junior, so he'll have another shot next year. Sean Marks, a senior, he goes out with a strong performance in section. His vault of 11 foot 8 inches, a little short of his best, but he's just outside the top 6. Spencer Hoyam, been a great story all season, and it continues at sections. Hoyam finishes 5th in the 110-meter hurdles, but his time of 14.85 qualifies him for state. Abdisa Koji, another senior with his last shot at state, does well in the final 400-meter dash, but a time of 51.01, just off the podium in 4th. Flip to the girls' side, junior Dolly Yinka Adamola Green with a nice end to her season, finished 9th in the shot put. Senior Courtney Killian with a couple of top 10 finishes at section. Her best comes in the triple jump, where she flew 34 feet 8.5 inches, also a 4th place finish. Couple of nice hurdlers will be back for the Cardinals next year. Junior Grace Henneman and sophomore Abby Russ both qualified for the 100-meter final. Henneman just missing state with a 3rd place finish. Russ finished in 8th.
And we want to wish, of course, Spencer Hoyam the best of luck at state.
Absolutely. A lot of other great finishes to tell you about. First up for the girls, Grace Henneman, as we talked about, a 3rd place finish in 100-meter hurdles. Abby Russ in 8th in that event. Also qualified for the finals in the 300-meter hurdles, where she finished 6th. Both of them did, and Grace Henneman finished 7th. Courtney Killian, her other top 10 finish, was 6th place in the long jump. Martinson was 6th place in the pole vault. We saw Adamola Green in the shot put. Rachel Dieters also a top 10 finish in the shot put for the Cardinals. On the boys' side, 4x2 team was in 4th place. Jordan Nolan, we talked about, in 3rd. Isaac Johnson, a high jump finish of 4th place. Koji, we saw in the 400-meter dash, finishing 4th. Spencer Hoyam finishes in 5th place in both of his events, the 110 and the 300-meter hurdles, but his time of 14.85 qualifies him for this week's state tournament. Tarnu Kikura finished 7th place in the 200-meter dash. Marks we saw in the pole vault, and Alexander finished 9th place in the discus. So congratulations to all of those who did not qualify and had great finishes, but definitely congratulations to Spencer Hoyam, and good luck at sections this week. He will be right back at Hamline University.
Yeah, we'll hopefully be able to tell you about it.
We will tell them about it for sure. Maybe show them, hopefully, but can't guarantee.
Let's hope so.
And that comes next time we do Sports Night, and that will also be the review show.
Well, the golf teams had their section tournaments last week as well. The 5 AAA boys tournament was held at Bunker Hills on Wednesday and Thursday. For most of the Cardinal golfers, their last trip around their home course for this high school season. But for a couple, it was a chance to exceed expectations. We start with Trevor Hyatt teeing off. He is one of 3 Cardinal players shooting a 55 on the front 9. Hyatt's round didn't get any better on the way back in. He finished with a team high 114. Ethan Thompson is up next for Coon Rapids. He liked the double nickel so much he put one on each side of his scorecard, and he finishes with an even 110. Senior Jason Klebeck able to bounce back a bit after shooting a 55 on the front. He had a 48 on the back 9, but still finishes in triple digits with a 103. Jake Van Hulsen's going to knock down this little 4-footer on his way to respectable 90 for the day. Well, the Cardinals' top 2 players, well, they set themselves apart most of the season, and they're both juniors. Connor Wise started with a 50 on the way out, but picked up his play with a 40 on the back 9 to finish with a 90 for the day. And then Carter Heeman, the only Cardinals player to make it to the second day of the section tournament. Heeman had a nice 5-over front 9 and scored an 84 to get to day 2. Scored a 90 in his final round, finished 38th individually. As a team, the Cardinals had a 372, and they would finish in 11th place.
Yeah, it's a young team, but as we've talked about, a couple of guys really showing their games, improving. Yep. And, you know, they've got the top 3 or 4 guys that are coming back. Very few seniors that were in and out of the lineup throughout the year. If they can get all of those guys, it's so hard in golf just to take off a couple strokes, and you're asking for guys 3 and 4 to take off another 10 or 15 between now and this time next year. Well, that's a lot to ask.
And it'll be a big summer for those athletes that want to improve their games, because it's a great opportunity to get out on the links and try and get those scores down.
Yeah, and the more you play, the better your opportunities. Girls golf team also competing in their section tournament last week. They were over at North Fork. The Cardinals finished 12th with a team score of 425. Whitney had the low score with a 103. The freshman Garbo a 104. Wilson shot a 108, as did Severson. Bezcalo finished with a 112, and No shot a 115. Well, the boys lacrosse team entered last week's section tournament with an absolutely nothing to lose. The Cardinals were the lowest seed in the 12-team tournament, but it's a program that didn't have a varsity team last season. So they traveled to Chisago Lakes with no pressure and hoping to pull off a big upset. Low-scoring contest early on. The Wildcats get the only goal of the first quarter. Jackson Nelson with a hard shot from the angle puts it top shelf, puts Chicago Lakes in front. Same score in the second. Cardinals on the attack. Michael Flamond able to find room and put the shot past the keeper, all tied at a goal apiece. Still in the second, A.J. Carls set up on the left side. Finds Tommy Carls cutting to the middle. He scores. Coon Rapids trails just 4-2 at the half. But the Wildcats get going in the third quarter. Carson Erickson bounces out to the right, fires low for the goal, and gives Chisago a 3-goal advantage. That was the start of a big period for the home team. Jackson Phillips works his way out front, shoots through traffic to score. Wildcats take a 7-2 lead into the fourth, and they put it away in the final corner, never letting the Cardinals threaten. Jack Lerfald's goal made it 10-2. Wildcats cruise from there to the easy 11-3 win.
Yeah, and again, it wraps up, as you talked about, it wraps up a season where they didn't play at the varsity level this year. There's obviously some
last year.
And there are obviously some things that they will continue to work on for next year. But you take those few positives that you had out of the season and you work on them.
Well, and it's another team that you talk about very young. We saw a number of freshmen contributing heavily to the varsity output this season. Top guys are also not seniors, a lot of them. So
lots to build on.
Could be a lot coming back. Absolutely. Let's take a look at the brackets. From there, Chisago Lakes lost a close one to Andover 11-10 in the quarterfinal round. Centennial, the only big win in the quarterfinal round, the top-seeded Cougars beat Champlain Park 14-3. And those two will meet in the semifinals, actually happening right now.
Right tonight, as we speak.
We're just not
We're not
current.
No, but
We're close.
We're in our own
Not
minds,
quite
we are.
that correct.
After putting up 21 goals in their first round victory, the girls lacrosse team got ready for a much bigger challenge in the quarterfinals. The second-seeded Centennial Cougars were 11-2 in the regular season and beat the Cards 70-8 during that regular season. If they hoped to turn the tides this time around, they would need another big offensive night. Cardinals trailing early, but getting on the comeback trail. Grayson Newell finds Mackenzie Molenkamp inside, turns, scores, gets the Cards on the board. Low scoring first half, Cardinals cut to a 1-goal deficit. Nice quick redirect by Emma Bolin in front, and it's 3-2. Well, then the Cougars start to pull away. They dominate the last part of the first half. Jillian Newdahl spins out in front for the goal. Centennial goes to the locker room with a 9-3 lead. Cards chipping away at it early in the second. Rowan Tom scores off the free position to get the Coon Rapids back within 4. Well, but unfortunately, that's about as close as it would get. The Cougars just continuing to pound away at the other end. Newdahl with another one to push Centennial's lead to 9. Newdahl had 4 goals, and the Cougars end the Cardinal season with a 17-6 loss.
And there you see just at that half of the quarterfinals, the Cougars moving on. They will take on 3-seed Forest Lake, and if I'm not mistaken, the top 4 seeds all advancing in both boys and girls section tournaments.
All right.
So no huge surprises, but
not at all.
For both lacrosse teams, I think progress made this season. For the boys, obviously, just getting on the field was an improvement over last year. Got a couple of wins, competed well in some others. Girls team getting maybe not as many wins as they would like, but taking steps towards being back towards an elite team.
Well, and they lost some close ones as well to the girls lacrosse team. So I think Coach Munson saw some real positives this season to take into next season. You know, as you mentioned, didn't get the wins they wanted, but I think they were competitive in a lot of their games, which is, you know, pretty much all you can ask for.
Well, and we will talk much more about all of the Cardinal sports programs on the next Sports Night when we review. Best of luck to Spencer Hoyam competing at state for the 110-meter hurdles. That's this Friday and Saturday at Hamline University. Good luck to him. But for the rest of you, I want to thank everybody out there for watching us and continuing to support everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, including Howie Shapiro, I'm Joe Young. Saying good night.